Work progressing on the bridge at the Fishing Hole Road. GB Power work crew back home after a goodwill mission. And make fire prevention your goal this Christmas.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I am Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, construction continues on the bridge at the Fishing Hole Road. The bridge is expected to eliminate the vexing issue of flooding during adverse weather conditions. A multi-million-dollar contract was signed in December of 2015. Officials say the structure should be completed in time for the next hurricane season. Kimberly Mullings reports.
Construction for the Fishing Hole Road Bridge has been going well, according to Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Works, Hiram Lewis, an architect by trade with a civil engineering background. He says a team of experts traveled to Grand Bahama recently to inspect the multi-million-dollar structure, and the government is now waiting on a more detailed report to update the public. The project is an active construction site, and Lewis has some advice to share with the motoring public.
We have signs up advising of speed limits. I've been there several times doing inspections, and the vehicular traffic, the speeding is just ridiculous. So we are urging our motoring public to just slow down, observe the construction zone. We want to make it safe for you and for the construction workers. They're under boundaries. There aren't any verges. We have solid concrete wall.
The Parliamentary Secretary added that it is imperative that there are no delays or interruptions to the Fishing Hole Road Bridge's construction because the causeway needs to be completed before the start of the 2018 storm season.
God forbid, if something would happen, it could be a major disruption due to investigation, and that could also hamper our construction schedule. It's important for us to have that completed prior to the startup of the next hurricane season, and if we continue on the mode that we are on now, it should be well. It should be completed and perhaps would have passed the first stage of defects and liability.
ABC Construction is responsible for the bridge's construction. Kimberly Mullings, ZNAS Network News.
A team from the Grand Bahama Power Company back home now after spending 1 month assisting with restoration efforts in hurricane-ravaged Dominica. The team grateful for the experience and for the opportunity to better the lives of hurricane victims in that Caribbean nation. Hurricane Irma was described as the most devastating hurricane to hit the country of Dominica, leaving behind a death toll of 27 and many missing people. Not long after, powerful Hurricane Maria followed, battering the island even further. Grand Bahama is no stranger to powerful hurricanes. Following Hurricane Matthew in 2016, international EMERA crews came to the island to help bring about relief and to energize the island. 6 linemen from the Grand Bahama Power Company traveled to Dominica to help with the restoration process. Andre Spence says he is proud that he was able to help make a difference.
It's very mountainous, so it was different, a little scary at first, but we got used to it after a week, and I don't think we can never get used to the driving and stuff like that. You're working on the edge of the mountains and stuff, so it's kind of difficult, but we got through it. We were able to energize some persons, and they were happy, and they were glad to have us, and it was like we was representing the Bahamas, because Bahamas, we were hearing that all the way, and it felt good about it.
The terrain proved to be a challenge to the crew, but they say it was all worth it to be able to help bring about a sense of normalcy for some residents. Arlington Sands notes that it was a unique experience.
The process is different, a lot slower, but on the terrain, mountainous, you have to think about safety. You have to be safety conscious, look out for the people and the vehicle that we take down there, because they don't have a lot of equipment down there that they work with, so, and it was okay. We get some power on for some people, and we saw a smile on their faces.
Shakeen Ohana says that it was heartwarming to see residents pulling together and doing all that they could to clean up and rebuild their country from such devastation.
It was surreal to see the devastation that they took, but the people there are very strong. They was in you know, wallowing in pity. They stuck together, they bond together, and they, like, the damage to the houses and to the city, you could see a lot of debris. And for them to come together as a community and start to clean up and try to get the place back to where they knew it to be, it was a good feeling to see.
Keith Knowles adds that it was a good experience to be in the capital city and to give back to the residents. He notes that while they were able to make a difference, there is still much more to be done.
Most of the downtown areas has been energized, and the business areas and some of the homes, but it's, you know, it's a slow process. It's still going to be a slow process because from the time of the hurricane up till now, which is going into about 3 months, the percentage of customers that's been energized is still very small. It's like about 13 to 15%.
A second crew of 7 linemen have now traveled to Dominica to continue the efforts. In other news, immigration officers apprehending 7 Haitian nationals, 4 males and 3 females, who were all living in the Bahamas without legal status. A female naturalized Bahamian of Haitian descent was also taken into custody for the offense of harboring 2 of the illegal migrants. The migrants were arrested by immigration officers at her home. All of the migrants were transported to immigration for processing and flown to the detention center, where they will be held until they are sent back to Haiti. As for the female who was taken into custody for harboring, she was released with a stern warning. The Immigration Department warns that this offense carries a penalty of $10,000 or 2 years in prison or both. Now to news from the court. The Barry and Sheena Johnson murder trial underway in the Supreme Court. The couple was killed at their home 2 years ago in West Grand, Bahama. Initially, 5 men were charged with the double murder, but now only 3 of the accused have to answer to the charge of murder. Italia Hall reports on today's proceedings.
Paul Belizaire, Devon Hall, and Kevin Dames are accused of 2 counts of murder, 1 count of armed robbery, and robbing the Johnsons of their car keys in their GMC truck, valued at over $8,000. Belizaire is represented by attorney Jeffrey Farquharson, Hall is represented by attorney Jethan Barrows, and Dames is represented by attorney Carlton Sherland. While Alan Alsamy and Virgil Hall have both turned Crown, Corporal Akeem Oliver took the stand Tuesday morning. He said he was present while defendant Paul Belizaire was being interviewed and cautioned by Sergeant Johnson. Oliver said he drove a white Mitsubishi 300 bus along with Sergeant Johnson and 2 other officers who sat at the back of that bus. Now during that drive, he says Belizaire directed him to several locations, which included a residence, a track road off the Warren J. Lavarity Highway, and Belizaire also gave Sergeant Johnson certain information and then returned to the police station in 8 Mile Rock. Oliver said that Corporal Gayshell Russell was recording the entire drive as well. Prosecutor Erica Kemp also asked Corporal Oliver if he witnessed any insults, harm, or promises made to Belizaire while in the vehicle. Oliver replied no. Oliver also said he was the witness during the interview and statement under caution with Sergeant Johnson and the accused Kevin Dames. Oliver said Dames confessed to his involvement with the crime during his interview. Now attorney Carlton Sherland then asked Corporal Oliver if that interview was recorded, and Oliver said that it was supposed to be and noted that he did not witness any type of confrontation with Dames. Sherland also asked why was his client cautioned of participating in an armed robbery, but it is not documented in the interview and he was never questioned about it. Corporal Oliver said that it was not detailed, but Dame said that he only gave the accused men a ride to the Deadman's Reef area. Next on the stand was Human Resources Manager at the Freeport Container Port, Dwight Cartwright. Cartwright was asked to identify a radio used by the deceased Barry Johnson. Cartwright confirmed that the radio was used by Johnson and also identified his signature on that radio. The Johnsons were shot and killed at their home in Holmes Rock back in September of 2015. The case resumes tomorrow morning. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
Now that case will resume on Thursday morning. Officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force promoting the message of safety during this holiday season. Tonight, the focus is fire prevention. A number of factors come into play as a part of getting into the holiday spirit. Some include a dip in the temperature, hearing your favorite holiday music, and of course, Christmas lights. Inspector Eli Arascore of Fire Services says that while decorations add to the festivities, you must always make safety a top priority.
Ensure that you have the right holiday decorations that you place on your homes or within your yard. If your light bulbs are rated for indoor use, ensure that they are used on the inside. Do not use them on the outside because the weathering and the materials for the coating will not hold up in the event of any heavy storm or rain. Replace any light bulbs that may be worn or broken cords or any loose bulbs. Use clips when hanging these decorations throughout the homes. Do not use nails as they may fray the cord and electrify those nails.
You are also reminded to unplug decorations before going to bed. This holiday season also means family and friends will gather more often. Our score says that it is important to ensure that all visitors feel safe when visiting your home.
I know a lot of times we're going to entertain a lot of family and friends in our homes and persons who might not be familiar with our homes. So we want to ensure that everybody that comes into your home knows the exit route in your home. Know 2 ways to get out your home in the event of an emergency. Test your smoke detectors in advance. In the event of emergency, your smoke detectors will be the first alert to inform you that there's a problem within the house. Ensure that everybody knows the fire escape plan.
It is a bit of advice old as time, but as a refresher, our score reminds residents to always blow out candles when not in use and always keep children away from fires and matches. As you prepare your holiday feast this Yuletide season, kitchen safety is key.
Ensure that you are watching your stove top and all items that might be on the stove during this holiday time. I know at this time we're going to have a lot of rubbish built up because of the debris from holiday gifts, cooking, and the likes. And we want to ensure persons to dispose of those items properly and not burn them in their yard, because it is an offense to light items indiscriminately.
This holiday season, the Royal Bahamas Police Force is reminding residents that prevention is better than cure. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition continues in just a moment.